Hello and welcome in everyone to the 17th session of Blutora Divided. You go ahead and switch us on over and we can jump into everything. All right. Should be good. Everyone can say hello. You are on stream.
Hello. Hi.
Look at Ocean's smile. I love that. Like,
before we get
Perfect.
started, Vation is feeling under the weather, so we kind of have Vation with us, but not entirely. So well wishes for Vation. We'll see if Ocean pipes in for anything during the session, but don't expect too much. And with that, unless anyone has anything else to add before we get started, we can jump into everything. It was a good intro song. It was a really good one. Okay.
that was good. Very relaxing.
Indeed.
Ooh, here we go. I have an idea. While I read the previously, I'll show this scene and the map. There we have it. Nice. Okay. Previously on Blutora Divided. Actually, move this over here. That way I can look towards the camera. Our group of adventurers slowly made their way out of Grimshade Estate, albeit not without issue. After the fight with a fierce basilisk, the group acquired some trophies from the creature's remains and noticed a curious yet unrecognizable symbol carved into the hide of the monstrosity. A symbol they made sure to carve out and save. Having to carry the petrified statues of both Ocean and Kulan out of the caves, the remaining three of Hera, Pipra, and Sam spent the rest of daylight getting quite the workout in. Overnight, trouble seemed to only ramp up. From one watch to the next, the threat of a strange, ominous, and unknown entity made its presence known more and more, sharing the same roof but unseen for much of the night. Eventually, the group came face to face with this mystery entity, only to learn that they seemingly could not cause it harm, and that it would only move should nobody have eyes on it. After an intense, narrow encounter, they managed to escape the manor with the stone statues of their companions intact. After securing safety for an evening in a nearby tavern known as Shorian Sink, Sam and Pipra sought out a nearby healer by the name of Junelia Cloudborn, who was able to cure the petrification effects that took hold over both Kulan and Ocean, who came to completely confused and unaware of anything that happened since the basilisk fight. We pick up with our group of 5 having rested and recovered, ready to seek out the large bounty that awaits for completing the Grimshade Estate investigation. What would you like to do?
First of all, I'd like to go down to the main tavern area and just find a seat.
Okay.
And if you'll allow, I think I'll join.
All right.
A good haunted adventure seems to warrant a celebratory drink, after all.
With what little gold we have currently.
It doesn't have to be a necessarily fancy celebratory drink.
True. Indeed.
Dear DM, what is this world's equivalent of Weatherspoons?
Of Weatherspoons? I don't even know what what a
very
real world
confused.
equivalent or what it actually is. To give you a
Very
comparison.
cheap pubs.
Very cheap pubs. I wouldn't consider where you are one. It's not like, you know, the fanciest place, but it's kind of that middle road, I guess. You're average, you know, dead center. It's not got a lot going for it, but it's also not got a lot going against it.
Perfect.
I'll
There we go.
get a drink and sit with them.
Okay. So just the three of you down there for now? I won't need Ocean to confirm. We'll just assume Ocean's around. But all right. So as you guys gather in the bottom floor, the more pub section of the tavern, as the sun rises and the day begins, feeling rested after the recent craziness that is taking place. If you guys haven't already, I assume you probably did at this point, but if you haven't already, you can all make sure that you're long rested, just in case.
Fantastic.
And throughout the morning minutes and potentially hours, depending on how long you guys stay there, the various morning crowd makes their way in and eventually back out. Not too many people, not a very active morning crowd, but about what you might expect. A couple people here and there. Nobody really causing a scene or doing anything of note.
Now, I don't suppose anyone who saw the original banner for this haunted bounty would remember exactly where we were due to turn said bounty in, would they?
Did one of you guys end up... I wanna say...
I thought one of us kept a poster.
Yeah, I wanna say one of you
Yeah.
guys... Hold on now. You would know either way from gathering the information before heading there that you were... Anyone who had information were to seek out the steward at the Citadel in the upper tier. You were to seek out Steward Girelfo, which is JR apostrophe ELFO.
Perfect. Well, when we seek out this Jill the UFO, do we have any other advice as to how to approach this matter?
To the group, I assume that was posed.
Indeed, indeed.
I was focused on the spelling. What'd you say? I don't multitask well.
Well, I believe we're looking for Jared the Elf. Oh? Indeed. Oh, well, we'll have to look for the steward. In any case, I assume that's in the upper regions of the city, no?
I know as little or as much as you do. I follow you.
Follow
Well,
your
we are
lead.
bound to get lost. Let's go. I would like to stand up and set off out of the tavern
Okay.
northward. I don't know where northward takes me, but that's where I would like to go.
Okay. All right. Let me double check the exact location of the current tavern. Okay.
Sam would like to do the more probably straightforward thing and just ask someone at the tavern if they have any clue where I would find this individual.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and say that you're able to find one of the nearby patrons, and given the information that you're looking for, I mean, it's very clear. Anyone who lives here would know. You're directed to any of the three pathways that connect the lower tier to the upper tier. There is one in the center of Nautabu. There is one not too far away in the southern regions, and there is one in the western regions of the city.
I turn to Hera and I go, I would go south, not north.
Perfect. South it is, and I would like to immediately turn and, as though nothing has happened, continue onward south.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. Everyone following suit. Anyone want to add anything to that? All right, I will assume we are good to go then.
Mhm.
As you guys make your way south from the Shorian Sink Tavern, looking for the path up to the higher tier of the city, it doesn't take too long before you're able to spot it, as it is indeed a path that rises above all the buildings and reaches into one of the gaps that allows much of the sunlight to breach into the lower tier. You can see as it kind of has this somewhat spiral aesthetic to it. It's not necessarily stairs, as it's a really gradual slope. It's got near the bottom of it a lot of kind of rock and terrain that's kind of built up to support it as you would walk up the path, 1 story high, 2 stories high, eventually level with all of the rooftops and everything before the terrain that's kind of the foundation of the path almost breaks away, and much of it begins just kind of stretching through the air, supported only by the occasional kind of rock pillar or post that reaches all the way down to the ground before it eventually just meets up with the large slab that makes up the entire top of the city. Very clear to see once you get into a big enough opening away from a bunch of buildings that might be blocking your sight. And you're able to make your way towards this path, as other than that, nothing really stands out about it. It's made of the same stuff much of the lower tier pathway is, and it just rises up above everything else. It's not nearby any of the main stone spires that sort of act as the quote-unquote foundations of the upper tier of the city. It's kind of all on its own. You kind of get the sense that it was maybe constructed with the gap that it shoots through being, I guess, the centerpiece in a way, or that was there before the pathway was, and they just utilized that gap to make one of their walkways. You guys like to do anything before you head up?
What's the cutlery situation like?
There is no cutlery to be seen right now.
Yes.
Good enough for me. I'd like to walk up the stairs towards the obvious landmark.
Okay. Everyone following suit? Anyone doing anything different?
Following
Yeah,
for now.
I think I just follow.
Okay. What's the marching order? And I won't need a confirmation from Ocean. We'll just throw you in there somewhere. Hera first, I think, is pretty clear.
Yeah, I'll follow up second to that.
Okay.
I'll be third.
I can watch the back.
All right. So you guys begin to make your way up. You can see as you travel up this path, to give you a sort of feel for it, it's not a quick walk to get up there, as it's not entirely spiraling up, as it's a pretty gradual slope, but it's kind of this really elongated sort of vibe. So it takes a good 3 to 5 minutes to walk up the entirety of it, as it's just this really long kind of gradual slope that eventually makes its way up there in no hurry. And it's pretty large. Like, the entire city is massive. It is there's a lot going on to it. So they're able to kind of get away with it. And from up here, about halfway up to 3/4 of the way up, you can see across much of the lower tier of Nautabu through much of the darkness, and you can see as you look out into the distance the brightly lit horizon after hundreds of buildings, just almost a flashbang of sunlight where the top stone slab of the city ends, and you just have, the various forests and fields off in the distance. And it creates this really intriguing sight of, hundreds, thousands of feet of darkness around you, kind of covering this entire city with these various streaks of sunlight shooting through the gaps in the top stone slab, these just rays of light seemingly just shining on random parts of the lower tier of the city to create a view unlike anything you would see in most areas. A definite unique sight. You can see the other two pathways that similarly have these really elongated, drawn out slopes that reach up into the upper tier and breach through some of the larger openings in the top stone slab that makes up the upper tier of the city. And much like on those, from what you can see all around you, there are a fair few individuals making their way up to the upper tier, a fair few people making their way down into the lower tier, seemingly from all walks of life, with maybe a little more of an emphasis on people that look to be tradespeople of various types, whether it's maybe specialists in certain professions or people who just are carrying, or hauling into entire carts of random goods and whatnot for trade or to deliver or what have you. You get the feeling that these three paths that connected essentially two separate cities are very fundamental to the day-to-day of a lot of people who live here and keeping everything running smoothly. You're able to make your way up, and at the very top, as you reach the part of the path that sort of shifts into the nicer stonework and more well-kept environment that is the upper tier of Nautabu, you are greeted with a sight not all too dissimilar from the bottom tier of the city, but a much more vibrant and lively sort of atmosphere surrounds you as opposed to down below. Everything is touched by the sun. There is seemingly no darkness to be found, even in the most crowded of alleyways up here, as not a cloud in the sky can be seen, and it seems like the perfect day where you really couldn't pick out something that would be wrong if you wanted to. The building construction up here is mostly similar to down below, albeit of a generally more well-kept sort of nature, just cleaner, less worn down and rugged. Things that need replaced get replaced sooner, that kind of thing. As you look out around, you see that in a lot of ways the buildings up here are not as tall on average. Down below there's a lot more, 2-story, 3-story. American definition of stories, by the way. The bottom floor is floor 1. Anyway, multiple buildings down below. Yeah, are generally taller buildings down below. It's a lot denser. It's kind of the inner city feel to give you a real world comparison versus up here being not quite suburbs, but somewhere closer to that. Just a little better spacing wise. And with that, over various rooftops in the west, north, and eastern directions, you can see some of the tops of the massive stone spires that act somehow as the supports, you would assume, of this giant stone slab that houses the upper tier of the city of Nautabu. Assuming that there's more probably to the south that you can't see over the nearby buildings. And these rock formations, as they come to their peaks, are unlike anything you've really seen or heard about when it comes to the natural world, especially in and around Blutora. They definitely already in the bottom tier gave you that sense of strange and unnatural construction, but it's just a little stronger seeing them from the upper tier. Far to the northeast from where you guys currently find yourselves, you can see bits of what appears to be your query in the citadel looming on the largest of the stone spires, on essentially the opposite side of the city, but visible from essentially anywhere on the upper tier.
Fantastic. Well, I personally think that that over there was built by aliens. But nevertheless, we should still visit it. It doesn't look of this world. I can't really imagine humans building this, or dwarves or elves for that matter.
It is quite the sight.
Hmm.
I've never
It is
met an
indeed.
alien before. What do they look like?
I kind of gesture to Ocean. Well, one of them looks like they have a sore throat from their petrification sickness at the moment, so. In any case, the spire. Going to walk as touristly as possible in the general direction of the spire, kind of stopping in the middle of the street where it's busiest and kind of going, wow, how amazing is this? Making sure I'm in everyone's way while I do it.
Make a performance check.
Thank you very much. 9.
First roll of the day going great. In your efforts to be as touristy as possible, the most you can manage out of the surrounding townsfolk are just some confused and some almost worried glances as people try their best to just ever so slightly pick up the pace when they are closest to you and just continue on with their day, trying to not get involved with whatever it is that you're doing. Nothing really sticks. And you're left feeling just a little bit awkward.
Are you done, or are we heading towards our goal on this path?
I think I've
Are
had my
you
fill.
done?
Please lead the well.
That's the worst thing you could have said. Are you done?
Are you done?
Anyway.
It was quite the show.
I thought you looked cool.
Thank you, Kalan. See, I'm so glad that I have supportive friends like this.
You're welcome.
I'm just gonna follow Sam towards the spire.
Okay. Anyone doing anything different? All tagging along?
I'll tag it along.
Okay. Sam's leading the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was debating something. Anyway. As you guys make your way through the upper tier of the city, takes you first 5 minutes that go by, 10 minutes, 15 of walking through, and as the day picks up, the sun rises closer to the center of the sky, the foot traffic as well picks up, the sounds of children playfully shouting, tradespeople and customers alike shouting back and forth from a nearby marketplace, distant bells tolling, not in an alarming way, but in a seemingly day-to-day manner. The occasional sound of birds, or a flock of birds for that, just fluttering away. Seeming normal day. About 20-30 minutes pass, and eventually you find yourselves around the base of the largest of these stone spires, and what plays home to the grand, intricate, looming Sky Spire Citadel. of the city of Nautabu. You saw it on
Definitely
your
aliens.
you saw it on your approach to the city, looming far in the distance, but up close, even more breathtaking, constructed of whites and off-whites and light grays for the most of it. A construction that doesn't appear all that old, at least compared to what you would expect out of something like this. The rooftops are very ornate and of a deeper blue, as the various rooftops on the main sections of the citadel and the various towers reach up towards the sky. And in front, for the entrance, you see a bridge that gaps what at first appears almost like a partial moat, almost in a crescent shape, from one kind of part of the wall of the massive stone spire, kind of reaching out towards you and curving back to another section of the wall. But as you draw nearer, you realize that it is not filled with water, but rather this gap is just a sheer drop-off to the lower tier of the city below, as one of the gaps in the large stone floating disc, essentially, that you find yourself standing on. The bridge stretches across that gap. It's not a necessarily huge bridge or long distance to cross, but notable. At either side of the bridge, on the near side, before you were to reach it, there are two guards that you could only assume are of specific palace duty. They are different in gear and appearance than the average city guard. You see more of those type on the opposite side of the bridge, where you have the large main entryway into the palace. There are about 4 at the base of it on the far side, and albeit from a distance from here, you can see what appears to be many more on the various towers and lookout points and watch areas, as you would expect, all just keeping an eye out for anything that might go awry.
Are we stopped yet? Stopped by anyone? In our case, I'll just keep walking, I guess, until...
Towards the bridge?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, as you guys approach the front of the bridge, the 2 guards in front, in unison and what is procedure, and definitely rehearsed a lot, in stride, both step in front of the gap of the bridge, not with weapons, which in their case are spears, not pointed at you, but more in a kind of crossed over each other, blocking the path manner, before the one on the left side kind of opens up the face of the helmet that is covering any of their features from being seen otherwise. And you see this older gentleman who appears to have a quite bearded face, all just kind of smushed into the helmet. All of the beard and mustache going on is definitely probably not very comfortable. It's of like a darker brown with a lot of gray kind of taking over. And you can see what appear to be somewhat aged looking eyes, kind of wrinkled around the nose and under the eyes quite a bit. As he looks out over your troop, each one of you individually pausing for a moment to just kind of study and take each one of you guys in for a moment before speaking up. Hold! What business have you?
Consider us halted.
So I imagine that since no one quite has any idea who actually took the bounty flyer or whatever from earlier. I imagine someone took it and then dropped it, and then Sam just hurriedly picked it up and just put it inside of his book, just because, just the information seeker that he is.
Yeah, that works. We could also assume you all have like one piece of it, and you all combine each piece together to make the full sheet.
The power of friendship.
Yeah, the power of friendship. Yeah, whatever you want to go with. We'll assume you guys have it.
Yes, I just, however I do it, pull it out of my book, just join the pieces together, just hand the guard the bounty. We're here to collect our bounty. You see, we faced the. It's been so long, I've forgotten the name.
Grimshade Manor.
Grimshade Manor. No, yeah.
Indeed, and I
States
believe
something like
Elfo
that.
Jr. wanted something to do with it.
At that, you can almost hear the eyebrow raise, the single eyebrow of like just taken aback at that one, as the guard on duty doesn't so much as look down at the bounty that was given to him, but acknowledges it and then kind of motions it back as to not taking it out of your possession. Looks over each of you individually, again with a curious look, before a long enough to be awkward pause, and eventually both of them step to the side, lowers the face covering on his helmet, and continues to not acknowledge your presence anymore.
Take that as a free to pass.
Thank you kindly.
Thank you for your kindness. I like to follow Sam.
Okay. You guys begin to make your way across the bridge, and do any of you decide to look down?
Oh, I would love
Nope.
to.
Did you say nope, Pipra?
Nope.
Okay. Pipra is looking straight ahead.
Sam will
Straight
definitely
ahead,
look down.
walking.
Hera and Sam glance down.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm probably looking straight up, admiring the castle.
Okay. All right. For the two of you that look down, make a wisdom save.
Goodness gracious. Okay. 18.
That is a 18 as well.
All right. Yeah. You guys glance down, and it is quite a view. You are very high up, and you can see the distant lower city below, and faintly make out the various people walking through the streets, at least where there's a little bit of light that can illuminate what's going on. But you will avoid feeling sick to your stomach as you make your way across the stomach, or across the bridge. And as you reach the other side, the 4 guards that are waiting there all seem to have you witnessed your approach initially, and none of them appear to stop you. The large front entryway is open currently, as there is quite a bustle around the front of it, with what appear to be many of the Citadel laborers kind of going back and forth at this time of day, just keeping the doors open. It's a nice day. There's no weather-related reason to keep the doors closed at the moment. And on the inside, you can see what appears to be a large hallway in front of you. You guys wish to enter at this point?
I do indeed.
Yes. I'd like to look for anyone that looks like kind of curator or someone whose job is to guide those who enter.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check.
$22.
22. Not too long after making your way to the front entryway and beginning to step inside, you are able to notice, speaking to a couple of what appear to be nobles. At the very least, these individuals are dressed fairly well and seem to be very well kept in terms of, showered and groomed and all of that. Just two individuals of no real notable features outside of that. Seemingly just your average noble. And the individual talking to them appears to kind of have this, I want to say, sort of, I don't know if hasty is the right thing to say, but in their kind of movement and mannerisms and the way they're talking, they appear kind of on edge a little bit, but not so much a fearful on edge as much as it is just, this is the kind of person that's always moving, always trying to get things done as fast as possible, just very busy kind of a vibe.
I guess some pep in their step.
Yeah, got some pep in their step. The person that you see, as you look longer, you notice that it is an Arbori man with long blonde hair. The hair is a little wavy, a little curly, probably comes down just past the shoulders. A really nicely kept light beard, so it doesn't grow out a lot. It's mostly just kind of this really short light beard going on that's kept very nicely. They appear to have these bright the kind of bright blue eyes that you kind of have to double take at, because they almost seem like too saturated, I guess, if that makes sense. And they're a little shorter, definitely shorter than the two people that they're talking to, and doesn't appear to be particularly in shape, but not particularly out of shape. He probably doesn't have time to be very active with everything that he's keeping up with, but without a doubt, as for what you're looking for, this appears to be at least someone who could help.
I think we should ask that guy over there for directions. And Hera, please
I'm glad you could
pronounce
read my
with
thoughts
me.
because
Drelfro, not elf.
Elf UFO.
Jello Afro.
Not elf, not UFO. Oh, you know what? Well, let Sam do the talking, please.
I couldn't agree more.
Hera, make a wisdom check real quick.
Okay. A wisdom check.
Yeah.
20, dirty.
Oh, okay. You can't help but feel like you definitely should let them do the talking, and you are getting it very wrong. I was hoping you'd roll low, because then you would confidently go in there with elf UFO or something.
I still might. You never know.
Okay, so who is
Jello Afro was next.
yeah, who is leading the way?
I believe
guess
Sam
I'll-
still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
How do you wish to approach?
Um, that is a question.
doesn't necessarily have to be with words.
Yeah.
It's, you know, are you saying something? Are you kind of trying to get insight and motion over, or, you know, hold up the poster? I don't know, anything at
I
all.
was gonna say, we just walk up and point at the poster.
Yeah, just like you got one of you guys holds up the poster and points it, and then behind you somebody else holds up the entire part of the snake you cut off with this.
Perfect. We're here about this.
Is there a table nearby?
A table?
Yes.
More towards either of the walls on the far sides. The hallway that you're just on the entryway to is quite wide, quite tall, very long, very grand. So no real kind of tables, at least here in the center. They'd be kind of off to the side. And the closest one to where this person is currently having a conversation would maybe be a good 15 feet or so away, opposite of where you guys are approaching from.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just approach the people talking and just excuse me, I have a inquiry to make.
Okay. As you approach and begin speaking up, the two noble-appearing individuals quickly utter something that you can't really make out, and both turn and walk further into the palace, heading down the hallway. And the blonde hair, shorter individual turns, and you have his full attention as he turns in, eyes kind of darting around. You can kind of see that almost panic, but not really panic as much as it is just always really in a hurry and urgently doing everything. Yes, hello. You're here for... And he's racking his brain, thinking you get the idea. He might think you're someone else.
Yeah. We have a bounty to collect, my friend. We have completed the bounty tasked by your elfo to visit the Grimshade estate.
Ah, yes. The Grimshade job. Yes, well, hello. I am your elfo. And do you have the bounty with you? The parchment by chance?
I hand it to him.
Okay. Oh, very well. I just don't actually need this. He just rips it up in his hands. I don't actually need this. This is just to, you know, make sure that you didn't lie to get in here. And he just kind of tosses it to the side. Are they, and he points past you, are they with you?
Yes, our group of adventurers, though surprising in many ways, have managed to complete your task of ridding that awful place of
right.
creature.
Speaking of, what did you manage to find in there? Because we weren't quite sure, and we hadn't heard anything yet, other than just some really strange things happening.
I look towards the group and just ask, do we have the bits of the creature?
I certainly do. I'd like to go into my bag, and as I'm going, I'd like to go, Mr. Jason Derulo, it's an honor to meet you. And I'm going to pull out the bit of skin that I've carved off, and we've gone. We hope that this may sate your bounty, and we found this we carved this piece of hide from none other than a basilisk.
Fascinating. And as he's kind of looking over what you're presenting, he just kind of mutters, "It's Terelfo," and continues to kind of look over it for a bit. Basilisk, you say?
Do you perchance recognize the symbol that is on the skin?
He reaches into a pocket on the kind of inner side of the kind of jacket, kind of robe, not quite one or the other, not really a cloak either, that he's wearing, and pulls out a little monocle before just kind of looking a little closer at some of the details. on
I'm gonna
this
just,
symbol.
as he's examining that, I'm gonna say, we also encountered a couple of entities we weren't actually able to dispatch. Something, say, 9 foot tall, pale, and with a gaping maw that consumed everything in its path like a black hole.
He just kind of pauses for a second.
It is not a friendly place to visit.
I lost some perfectly good cutlery to that thing.
And the rug at some point.
He just kind of looks over each of you guys at that. Natural 20 on insight. Okay, very well.
I wouldn't mind them too much.
Do you all have a moment?
I have as many
Sure.
moments as you may require of me, Mr. Girelfo.
Pepper breathes a sigh of relief at you finally saying the name right.
I couldn't think of one on the spot.
Oh, amazing.
There's somebody I would like you to meet. And at that, he turns and seemingly at complete random, just ushers one of the passerbys, appears to be more of a laborer than anything, and just kind of whispers something to them for a bit, and they go running off down into the palace. Turns back to you guys. Well, you were, I would say, definitely more than able to complete what we were looking for, and maybe a little bit more at that. I would like you guys to relay this information directly to those above me, because I would probably not be the best one to relay it for you.
I'd like to do a quick insight check on this. Does he seem afraid of this information being relayed?
Go for it.
Or a solid 16?
From what you can tell, it's not so much a fear of the information as much as it's just more or maybe more serious than what they were anticipating from when they put the bounty on. They weren't expecting it to be that serious at all, but it seems as though his tone has shifted a little bit around the topic of this specific investigation, as it's kind of taken on a, I guess, more impactful, or I can't quite think of the word. Definitely just more than they expected at that. Not so much a fear, though. And he is, at this point, ushering you guys to follow deeper into the palace. Do you all oblige? Does anyone...
I'm happy to follow.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Follow.
Okay. So you make your way deeper into the hallway through this grand entry hall to the Skyspire Citadel. You see the colors of the city and Elabed as a whole adorning the walls. The greens, the whites, and grays are grand chandeliers that hang from the ceiling about 50 feet above where you guys sit right now. Tall, well-crafted windows that line the hall on either side. Beautiful busts and sculptures on display occasionally to either side. As you step further and further along the grand blue carpet, the same blue of the rooftops far above, you begin to see the hall open up into a larger room. As you pass further by various doorways and connecting hallways to either side, you get a better view of the open room ahead. At the far end of the room sits a singular throne, raised slightly off of ground level. This throne is crafted of the finest stone masonry, adorned with well-chiseled wooden accents, themselves dotted with colorful gems of all sorts, from the base of it to the point at the top, which itself presumably reaches a few feet higher than the head of anyone sitting upon it. Above the throne, a large banner of the City of Spires hangs, the green downward pointing triangle reaching down over the top, the white and gray halves from left to right. On either side of this banner, tall stained glass windows reach from near the ceiling to just above eye level at the bottom. To the sides of the throne, sitting about 10 feet away on either side, candelabras of the fanciest craftsmanship with candles lit within, as well as a series of floating candles from the top of the candelabra spiraling upwards about another 10 feet, mirrored on either side. In between the throne and yourselves, a long table, ends pointed at you on one end and the throne on the other, with at least 20 seats stretching across either side. Nobody sits at the table currently. However, a pair of Citadel guards stand at the entryway of this room, as well as a pair at each doorway within. A doorway on either side as you enter, on the left and right walls respectively, directly opposite of one another. 2 sets of double doors, one on the right wall, one on the left, opposite of each other as well, but further into the room, almost adjacent to the throne, for a total of 4 doorways in this room. At the base of the throne foundation stands a brown-haired woman dressed in exquisitely tailored jade green robes, complete with silver accents all throughout. The robes flare and open up at the wrists and don't quite reach the floor, the slit reaching on the side of the left leg from base to halfway up the thigh, opening up in a sort of triangular shape as it reaches further down towards the ankle. Her hair appears to be done in such a way that it intertwines with a beautiful silver tiara that on its sides flares upwards, curling in to accent an opposing flare that stretches down and rests gracefully on either cheek. The remaining brown curly hair gently rests over either shoulder, reaching about the elbows in length. This woman appears to be talking with another individual. This one, a Wurika man, older in appearance with medium-length gray hair, containing streaks of a reddish-brown color. His white beard appears well-kept and respectable. He's adorned by robes of his own, primarily a charcoal color with some silver and blue accents throughout. Not quite as fancy as the woman's. He holds a book and writes within it as he speaks to her. As you draw closer, he suddenly stops, turns, glances at the group, saying something to the woman before turning and heading through the double doors to the left. The woman looks towards you, noticing the likes of Gerelfo as he ushers you inside and shoots a warm, welcoming smile in your direction as she takes the initiative to approach and meet you halfway. Smile not leaving her face, and Gerelfo kind of stepping forward on behalf of your group and mumbling something to her. At most, you can make out something to the effect of bounty, more information, and directly getting that information to her as opposed to through all of the channels of bureaucracy and whatnot that would normally be the case. She nods and he takes a step back, gives a slight bow. And as she approaches the group, who is standing in front? Or are you kind of more side by side?
I'd say probably more side by side.
Okay.
In a setting like this, yeah, probably like that.
Okay. As she approaches and just quickly glances in each of your directions, giving definitely a momentarily extra curious look in Ocean's direction.
Naturally.
I'm gonna DM you something, Cody. I just want to be sure you see it.
Okay. Should I wait before I continue, or is this just...
Go ahead.
Okay. She glances over each of you. She herself gives a very slight bow. Welcome. I'm Queen Irisala of the city of Now Taboo. But most just call me Queen Neri. I'm told that you have brought some significant information from Grimshade.
Significant in that the majority of the problem has now been solved. I'd like to once again produce the carved flesh that previously made its residence in my bag and pull it out. And as you can see here, we have a lovely artisanal piece from an unknown artist detailing probably something occult. We also found evidence of something that looked like it could certainly use a sleep, as it was constantly yawning.
In other words, we traveled to Grimshade Estate and disposed of the basilisk, which laid in its foundation.
A strange symbol, a basilisk, and a creature that yawns. How
There's
fun!
many-
I should elaborate on that creature that yawns. It was 9 feet tall, pale, and I lost several spoons, corroded indeed, trying to feed the thing. Also, it
She
moved
just
at
kinda has this-
startling speed the second I looked away.
She has this look that overtakes her of almost dumbfounded, but not in a disbelieving way as much as it is a a spark of curiosity, and you can kind of almost see that maybe in a different time she might be more of an adventuring type like you. This spark of kind of lighting up at these wacky details and just inexplainable oddities that you came across as she takes in every word you say. She doesn't interrupt. Do you continue or do you pause?
I'd love to continue. Do I notice this kind of change, like the spark of adventure? In
Yeah.
her? Okay.
You're the one noticing this.
I'll go. When we entered the door, we found a rug that immediately tried to ensnare me and catapult me down to the floor. However, we were able to tame the beast. Unable, unfortunately, to bring this back with us as the damn thing was stolen. I do apologize. It would have made such a lovely pet.
As you're speaking, without saying a word, she kind of raises a hand somewhat behind her and just kind of makes a hand motion. And shortly after, as you're speaking, the workman that you saw previously draws nearer, a couple steps behind her, and you can see as he's started writing frantically in the same book he was writing when talking to her previously.
We collectively managed to dispatch many insectoid canine creatures that compounded us and decided that they would set about us like beasts to flesh, so to speak, within the Grimshade Manor, leaping at us from every corner, every ceiling, every corner that they could find. From the closets, they leapt as we bound the doors back in their face, only to delve into the basement. We found evidence of some cult-like dealings, figures from the past that may or may not have connected to evil magics. We interrogated them and found there be even deeper secrets underneath the chasms of that Grimshade Manor, where we found this basilisk, who petrified, sadly, some of our dear comrades. But worry not, they walk amongst us once again, if slightly under the weather from their statue-like experience. However, as we left the manor, we were able to catch sight and defend ourselves from this evil beast, void-like entity, gaping maw of darkness and pale complexion, and we escaped with our lives.
And possibly burn down the manor.
Shh.
So that's what happened. Yes, did hear of the manor's burning down, or
It was an
Partial
unfortunate
burning.
side effect, I'm afraid.
yeah. Well,
Surprised it didn't burn earlier.
you know, at the very least, nobody was living there, and it didn't affect anyone else. So, it was just the 5 of you who managed all of this?
Yes.
I certainly couldn't name a 6th party.
Interesting. Okay. Well, for one, and I'm assuming you still have the basilisk carving out.
I do, I'm very proud of it.
She kind of motions in the direction of it. Given the increased risk from what we were initially expecting and revelations of much of this information, she turns to the Wurika man, and you can see as she grabs a parchment from him that he had just written a couple of things on a moment before. She glances over at herself and turns, hands it to Jirelfa to the side before looking back at you. We will be doubling the bounty total that was offered on the initial post for everything that you've been able to bring to us, information and otherwise. I am quite curious as to that symbol found on the creature, as it's not a coincidence. It can't just be some random instance or inexplainable occurrence. There's definitely got to be more to it, and the other creature you mentioned, or creatures for that, might have something to do with it. Did you find anyone else at the manor? Or just these creatures?
We did, as a matter of fact, encounter a number of assassins while we were going through the manor. Yes, bounty
They did
hunters,
not
but
take kindly to our presence.
What did
They
these
made an
assassins look
attempt
like?
on our lives.
What sort of equipment did they wield? What sort of colors did you see?
They were mostly red and black. They're known as the Errolin assassins.
She ponders to herself for a moment. Well, speaking of things that surely can't be coincidences, she turns and gives a look to the Wurika men. It just so happens that we've had them on our radar for a little bit now. Not usually a group that we need worry about, but as of recent, things have changed, to say the least, and there's been quite a bit more trouble involving that group. One of the things we have planned or in the works for an upcoming investigation that we plan to put more effort into ourselves, as opposed to just a bounty, was towards these Errolin assassins. I can get some of the details if you'd like, if it's something that you think your troop could potentially look into quicker than we could get to it, but with some of the trouble they've been stirring up lately, I wouldn't want to leave them to their devices for much longer, and especially with their involvement in Grimshade specifically. I can't help but feel as though something's just not adding up. You see, this is a group of assassins, supposedly, and yet you found them at Grimshade, seeking out a bounty, and just recently, they were involved in more actions in the lower tier akin to like a thieves guild, or more of the financial underworld side of things. And that's where
Perhaps
they've
they're
made...
expanding their business.
Perhaps. Whatever the case might be, definitely need to get to the bottom of it. As short as a year ago, they did not have an ounce of a presence here in Autabu. And now seemingly everywhere we turn, they're involved. Well, we know of a potential location not too far away in which our scouts believe they may be operating out of, and at the very least, maybe not as some sort of main headquarters, definitely one of their outposts. As I mentioned, we were going to look into it ourselves, but with us being stretched thin at the moment due to the war, it's no telling when we'll have the manpower to do so. Would you and your friends be willing to investigate this?
Well, certainly to fill our free time.
Okay. I'm glad to hear it. What you did in Grimshade is extraordinary. And if you can help us clear the air with this Errolin business and bring back some valuable information on the happenings and secrets that they've been hiding as of late, there is something much larger and potentially lucrative, if that is what motivates you, that I could see to getting your involvement in the future, should this all go over well. I'd be tempted to now, but I just like to make sure I get the right people for it first, so I'm sure you understand.
Of course. Well, adding this Errolin assassin business to our portfolio certainly can't help. Certainly can't hinder, rather. And some coin wouldn't go amiss at the moment, so I'm inclined to accept this deal.
I am not opposed.
Okay. She looks over in Sam and Kulan's direction. Also Ocean, but we'll assume Ocean agrees and we won't make Vation speak up.
I am most willing to fight these people. If it helps, I've already been on the hunt for them for quite some months now, and I will. If it is the last thing I do, I will hunt these people down.
I'm always up for uncovering the truth.
She nods at each one of you. And before she says anything else, the warrior command, a few steps behind, approaches, and at her side, flips a couple of pages in his journal or notebook in which he's taking all of these notes and writing everything down. And he turns the book towards you guys and asks, kind of motioning at the symbol you brought forward, which is currently on the screen. Did you happen to encounter this symbol in Grimshade?
I believe we did. It certainly looks like the same form of scribbles and lines that we encountered.
Oh, you switched it to a
Sam,
different one.
I
right?
switched.
There's a new one on stream.
You're early.
Can I roll history?
Go for it.
Can I just quickly roll or just scan through my book if I did happen to see it and just forgot it and wrote it down while
Yeah.
looking through the books and stuff?
You can both roll a history check. Let me know what you get.
Natural 20.
Okay.
Woo!
25.
Okay. Neither of you have ever seen this symbol. However, both of you get the feeling that it's got a similar way about it to the symbol that you found, and it's a fairly strong chance that it could be related in some way, shape, or form. Beyond that, you're really unsure. You've never seen it.
I'm sorry.
not-
but
Go ahead.
we haven't encountered it during a delve into Grimshade.
It appears that it could be related to the same family, but not necessarily one we've come across.
Is it one I'm familiar with at all?
Not from what you can tell.
Okay.
Very well. He takes a couple more notes and steps back again to the position that he was in previously. Queen Neri continues. Well, we know. Let me get the map here. We know that we've seen some heightened activity with this group to the south of the city, out of the reaches of it, and not quite as far as something like Sordibu, but deep in the forests, maybe a good day's trek out of the city limits to the south and into the wilderness. There is an old abandoned burial site. It's called Cragwater Crypt, and it was constructed hundreds and hundreds of years ago. At this point, it hasn't been maintained or really regularly visited in quite some time. But from what we gather, we think that location is currently being used as some sort of outpost, or perhaps staging area, or something to that effect for our city here, and even the surrounding towns and villages in the western reaches of Elabad. So I would point you guys in that direction, south of the city, when you are ready and seeking to investigate this. Just, if you go, be mindful, the woodlands in the area, the Ebelvale, can be quite unforgiving to those who travel it unprepared or underestimating just what lies
And
within.
how best would you say one would prepare for these environments?
First and foremost, be ready for and expect the worst. There are many a creature who roam the forest and patrol the wilds in this region. Many individuals who would seek to do harm. Many creatures who maybe at one point in time used to be an individual who sought to do harm.
Oh,
There's a
now
wide
that is
range.
ominous.
Wide range of things that could be found out there, but given your dealings with Grimshade, I do have some confidence in this troop. And as I hinted at previously, this would be, should you come back from it, and I do expect you to, just what I need to see to confirm that your group would be the right ones for the larger task at hand that I would like to involve you in the future.
Certainly.
Before you go, where do each of you hail from? None of you seem to be from here, at least. Kind of glances over towards Sam. At least not this city.
Well, if you must know, I hail from Bredelia. But I've been a
Damn, I
wanderer
totally
for
forgot.
a very long time.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up a map because this is a good lore opportunity.
Lore.
I don't have a note with where she's from, so I don't remember.
Okay. There's Hera. Do we not have it written on in your notes? I don't think we do.
No. Mm.
I hail from Ifalia, but it's been a few moons since I was last there.
I know the general region for Pipra.
Zoom in and I can tell you. I just forgot the name of it, but I know about where it's at.
I have all kinds of notes on each of your characters, but I didn't write down Pipra's specific city. Anyway. Ifalia. For Sam, Bredelia, for Hera. I want to say Pipro is from the northern parts of Scotia. One of these cities. I don't think it was southern. In the jungles. Zoom in more because it's hard to see because it's in a small.
None of those names are familiar.
I want to say it was Eska, but I might be wrong.
Eska sounds right.
There's also Beska, so.
Eska, I believe.
That's what I thought.
Eska and better Eska. That's what the B stands for.
Okay. What do you offer up, Kulan?
Well,
Question.
I'm not sure where I was born, but I grew up in Kynor in Eustrea.
And we can all already picture Ocean's confused Ocean response.
I'd like to think she just rolls with that response as well. Like, fair enough.
Yep.
Seems believable.
Okay. She nods and
from the sea.
doesn't inquire any further. You get the sense that it was, if anything, information that she'll keep in mind and is sort of a friendly inquiry, if anything. Very well. Well, I do look forward to hearing of what comes of this, and Drelfo here will see to it that you guys are awarded double the initially posted bounty for Grimshade. 6,000 gold pieces, I believe, for your group, and well, let's see what happens with Cragwater, and there might be more that we can do as well. She takes a slight bow and turns, heading back towards backside of the room where the throne is, as well as the double doors on either side of the room, talking again with the older Warwick man, jotting notes in his book. As Girofo grabs all of your attention, holding up the slip of paper that he was given. All right, let's go get you guys paid, and hurriedly starts walking back down the hallway, ushering you guys to follow.
Mm-hmm.
I will follow.
Okay.
Following along.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Doctor Elfo.
Okay. So you guys follow Girofo back through the grand hall of the Skyspire Citadel, and about halfway down, he stops you guys and heads through a doorway. After telling you guys to stand and wait for a moment, you watch as various individuals pass by, going to and fro, deeper in the palace, towards the exit. Nobles and laborers and guards alike. Visitors, as well, of various walks of life. Somewhat uncommon. It's mostly the aforementioned groups. Eventually, he steps out from the doorway with one guard in tow, who, at arriving at your group, the guard kind of walks off, assumingly to go do something else now that he's escorted Girofo, who has a small box, almost kind of chest-like, something you can just kind of hold with two hands, assumingly it's a little heavy. Reaches it out to anyone who will take it.
I take it.
Okay. Make a strength check.
-1 strength.
Goodness gracious.
Let's go 16.
Okay. It's heavier than it looks, but you're able to hold it. And he, after you take it to your possession, he takes out a small key, fiddles with the lock a little bit before you hear a click, puts the key away. It's shut still and latched, but unlocked. He opens it up to show you guys. Inside you see an astounding amount of gold pieces all at once piled into there. What you can only assume to be probably 6,000 gold pieces. And taking him at his word, at least, unless any of you want to insight check, puts the key away, shuts it after you all see, and redoes the latch, informing you that it's not locked, but you can latch it shut without locking it, kind of a thing. And in a kind of stressed out manner, remembers that he's got other responsibilities, so he frantically wishes you well and hurries off down the hall, leaving you to your devices here in the grand hall of the Skyspire Citadel.
I divide up the gold and give each party member 1,200.
Okay, you can each add 1,200 gold to your inventory. If any of you struggle figuring out how to do that, let me know.
I was so broke, so I'm so happy.
So many cheeseburgers.
So many.
Way better than 600 each.
Indeed. This also makes me think that we should restock our supplies for sure before heading out.
It certainly does feel like a room with lots of potions right before a boss fight.
Indeed.
Definitely not DM feeling bad for you having no money.
DM likes to make everything so expensive that we have no monies.
It could be worse. There's some stuff in base D&D that's like dumb expensive.
Okay, but you scammed us on horse prices, and I won't forget it.
It's different in Blutora. It's different.
They're expensive.
Looks at money, very interested, and glances in backpack where he finds similar looking coins as Vation. /Ocean. Alright, what would you all like to do now that you've divvied up your money? Are any of you going to attempt to keep the box, or will you just kind of set it on a table and leave it?
Is it a fancy box?
It's not like noticeably fancy. It's not shoddy though.
Will it fit in my bag?
It's gonna weigh a good little bit on its own. It's not the bulkiest.
It's lighter
thing,
than it was.
It's lighter than it was with the money, yeah. It's just it's not tiny. It's also not full size. I just didn't know if you guys wanted to try and keep it or just leave it.
What if we fill it with water and place it on top of a door, so when it opens...
No.
Well, we'll
Okay.
just leave it somewhere.
I'll keep it for now.
No? Okay, we'll keep it.
I like boxes. I want to keep books in it.
Okay.
It's
Right.
just I find some belongings of mine that I'd like to organize, and I put them in it.
Okay.
This is what I do with cute boxes IRL. I keep it and I find stuff and I put it in it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I have a jam jar with cool rocks.
Nice.
Hmm.
A very tiny jam jar.
Yeah, it's a very tiny jam jar. I would fill it with cool rocks if I had that chest.
I've got this that I need to find stuff to put in.
Oh. That is very cool.
This was one of my like prototype things I'd made.
Mm.
Nice.
Okay, but let's go and get some supplies, I guess.
Indeed. If we
Onwards.
want to do it quickly, I'm just mainly looking for potions. Healing potions and
I added the custom small chest to your inventory.
okay, thank you.
So, what's your guys' plan?
I would like to look for potions, healing potions, and like antidotes, anything to like keep on hand in case anyone gets poisoned. Stuff like that.
Yeah,
just
I think
wanna-
that's a good. I think that's a good idea.
We have bear sprays.
Bear spray.
You never know what's down there. Going to the woods, aren't we?
That's true. Some
I think
mosquito
I'll
spray as
stock up
well.
on food and alcohol. Is there any relatively cheap wine that I can stock?
So you're looking for potions, cheap
Yes.
wine, you said?
Cheap wine.
Cheap wine. Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
marshmallows, if those are available to me.
So potions, cheap wine, what else?
rations, I guess.
Okay, rations. Anything else anyone wants to look for specifically?
Nope.
Do we have a solid map of the area?
Of the city itself, not a one-to-one map, just this representation of the city. Or do you mean on your character?
I was thinking of the area that we're going to be going.
All you know is that it is deep in the wilderness directly to the south of the city. And you were informed that it was before you reach Sortebu, which is one of the nearby settlements to the south.
Okay.
So it's between there and Nautabu. Although, don't be deceived by the map. It's, if you were to walk all the way to that settlement, it would take you, through the wilderness, probably 4 or 5 days or something. So it's a large area.
I won't look for a map then, just potions, antidotes. Just so we're prepared again in case anyone gets like petrified or poisoned.
Okay.
Mhm.
Or is it more of a, you're willing to spend X amount? Is it, you want to know what the options are? Is it...
I just don't know the cost. So I'd like one antidote, a couple healing potions.
Okay. Does anyone tag along with Pipra on this specific side quest?
I would love to.
Okay.
I'll follow along as well.
Me
Okay.
too.
Okay. So you all go there together first?
Mm-hmm.
All right. For the sake of time, you guys are able to, in the upper tier of the city, upon leaving the citadel, head more towards the western reaches as you are guided by passerbys who offer up some information. Find an alchemist. The building has inscribed on the sign out front, Carrion's Cask, spelt Cairriun, Carrion. And it's a unassuming little place, kind of cozy sort of feeling to it, warm, welcoming. The female Wurica on the inside tending to the place is elderly and quite tall, but still hunched, and you get the feeling that in her younger years, with how tall she is hunched, probably towers over anybody. Very sweet, welcoming. Hints of, like, definitely some witch going on there, but you don't mind because she's so nice and welcoming. And tours you through various concoctions and poisons, potions, ingredients, all of the kinds of things that she has to offer. You get the sense that she doesn't run the busiest of businesses in town, and is always very excited and happy to see people walk through the door, kind of a thing. Now, in terms of health potions, Carrion's Cask has all 4 available, at least 1 of each. Things like the Supreme being very expensive. Are you just looking for like a normal calm and healing potion? Are you trying to... Okay. All right. And you're the one purchasing?
Yes.
Okay. I am trying to stay on top of things by like helping you guys inventory wise and everything, so I'm making sure I'm on the right page here. Okay. They do cost 50 gold a piece, so you decide how many you want to get of normal calm and healing potion.
I think I'd like 3.
Okay. And that's just like you personally buying 3?
That's just for myself.
Okay.
I'll buy 4.
Okay. She's got a stock of 10 total, so that's 7. There'll be 3 left of normal common. If anyone else wanted to spend some money on those. And you guys had, I think, some at least left over.
I can take the last 3.
Okay. So each of you mark off 50 per.
And I wanted antidote.
Okay. And are you looking for an antidote that is directed at something specifically? Or are you looking for something that might kind of cover a somewhat general spectrum of things?
Kind of a general spectrum, or if I knew of any like dangerous flora or fauna that's specifically poisonous in the area, I would do it specifically for that. But
Okay.
like a general antidote that kind of just slows down or helps until you can aid someone a little
In
bit
terms of
better.
like to counteract a specific effect, like a poison or a bleeding or like a...
Basically.
It was more of a, is there a specific effect that you're looking for it to counteract? Or
Just
like
poison.
poison? Okay.
Mhm.
Let me check my notes. Okay. So closest thing that she has would be a potion of poison resistance, which gives you resistance to poison for an hour upon drinking it. She's got one in stock, and if you wanted to buy that, it would cost 100 gold. That's the closest thing she's got to what you're asking for. And resistance is the half damage. So it wouldn't grant immunity for an hour, just half. If you wanted to pick it up.
I'll pass.
Okay.
I do really have to go to the bathroom though, so I will be right back. While
Yeah, we
everyone else
can.
does their shopping.
We can all take our break now if you would like to. We're only like 15 minutes away from when I was going to put it, so
I just couldn't hold it, so.
everyone wants to go take their break. That would work just fine.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
All right. We will pick up soon. Okay, we are. Aha. Back. Hopefully, I guess we'll never know with Vation, but we'll assume. And we can pick up where we left off. Was there anything else at the Alchemist that you wanted to look for, or are you guys set there?
I'm looking for something sticky and that can catch fire easily.
Cheap wine, right?
Preferably, indeed.
Fair enough. I mean, you could ask for it here, but it doesn't have to be the Alchemist per se. You could find cheap wine relatively easily around.
Well, cheap wine was the plan B, but I think if we're in an alchemist shop, they'll
Yeah.
know how to create a nice fire. Possibly a little more efficiently than wine would.
I mean, yeah, if you wanted to look for like an oil, maybe. If that sounds more down your alley.
Of course.
I would say that
is
would be-
there anyone manning the shop at the moment?
We'll say to save on time because I haven't been acting on this
That's fair.
Alchemist. Do you just want like one kind of oil vial, or are you looking to like stock up, or?
I'm looking for something that I can chuck and then set fire to.
Yeah, I mean, just one thing if you just want.
Yeah, one thing would be fine.
Okay,
with that.
yeah, it would just cost you like a gold piece to get a small enough thing of oil to catch
Cool.
something on fire.
Small enough thing of oil. Perfect.
Could I get like a fire blanket in case something happens?
This would be one of my
blanket.
weaker pyromaniac options.
You could
I'm
get
well aware.
You could get a fire resist potion.
I think my character already has fire resistance.
Yeah.
Unless that
That sounds right.
also works.
You could one up the oil by getting an alchemist fire.
Mm-hmm.
Now that sounds fun.
Any of you guys wanted to get those, they are also 50 gold apiece.
I'll take an alchemist's fire.
Okay. Add that to your inventory, and let's assume you guys are already on it with updating gold amounts. Any other alchemist things, or
Is that an Angry Birds mug that I just saw? Oh my
Wait.
goodness. it was.
Goodness gracious.
dang, 2012 called.
2009, actually.
Oh no. Dang, we're getting old. Anyway. I guess that covers the cheap wine. Is there anything else you guys are looking for? Potions? Lightable things on fire? That was everything, right? That you guys listed?
Yeah, I
your
guess.
Search.
I mean, for Alchemist at least. We were looking for food as well, I think.
Yep. Easy enough to acquire from the various general shops. Are you looking for a certain amount of food rations to stock up on, or just like one or two?
So I'm kind of looking for something like for maybe 1 to 3 days tops.
Yep.
For the whole group?
Yeah, I was gonna buy for everyone.
Okay. We'll say
Or at the very least, ingredients to be able to make something out of it.
yeah. We'll say
probably
we'll round it to like 10 gold to have the entire group covered for like 3 full days on top of what you already have.
It is done. I'll say that I have bought some ingredients to be able to put something together.
The real question is, do you have the cutlery for it?
Maybe.
Okay. If that is all of the shopping you guys aim to do at the moment, you are left to your devices in the upper tier of the city currently.
What time of day is it?
I'd say it's about roughly midday, maybe like a 2 p.m.
I mean, I'm ready to set out whenever. Just depends on what time of day we want to leave.
I'd say so.
Do we know if it's a rideable path there, or if it's just we have to trek
It
through the
is.
forest?
There is no road. You're trekking through wilderness.
Fair enough.
Okay. So you guys are making your way towards one of the city exits then? Okay.
Mhm.
Would you guys like to make your way towards the southwestern exit or southeastern exit? In terms of the two heading in the direction here, let me show you the map. Two heading in the direction, kind of in the direction that you're going.
If we look at
We're
the
going.
southeastern. Sorry, go
Mhm.
on.
I was gonna say the exact opposite, but so I was gonna say we go. First of all, I hope this world at least follows. I hope
Yeah.
this Earth or this planet rotates the same way our Earth does.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd say we'll go.
It rotates both ways.
Yeah, I'd say we'll go southwest, following the setting sun.
Okay. So out that exit, you guys were directed to just head straight south from the city. Anything else you would like to do before you begin traveling off the beaten path and away from civilization? Or are you heading in?
Ready to go?
Ready to go?
Sam just makes sure he has enough ink to last the whole travel.
All right. So for the remainder of this day that you find yourselves on, do you guys wish to travel at a normal pace, albeit no road? So that's not entirely quick, but are you being extra careful? Are you being extra fast, or something in between?
I'd say that an in-between pace should be absolutely fine.
Okay.
They're not necessarily expecting anyone to be approaching them, but maybe as we go on, let's have a little look.
Okay.
Definitely.
I would like somebody to roll a d20.
Okay. 12.
Okay. As you guys begin your journey through the outskirts of Nautabu in the scattered farmland, stone pathways turn to dirt, pathways that turn to no pathways as you trek through weeds and bushes and tall grass. Not particularly quick or particularly carefully, but at a respectable enough pace. Eventually, as the minutes turn into hours and the sun goes from shining directly above to making its way further and further towards the distant horizon, the sky begins to fill itself with lovely shades of orange and pink. Sunset begins to creep closer and closer The view of the city behind creeps further and further and further as it begins to be obscured by a small smattering of trees that begins to grow thicker and thicker until there is no trace of the city that you once left behind after but a handful of hours on your walk so far. You find yourself in a mix of dense forest that lightens up a bit to small openings and fields themselves surrounded by more of this brush. And no real consistent patterns amongst the terrain. Some of it more flat, some of it a little more hilly. No mountains. Various squirrels and rabbits can be seen. Birds chirping above. Snapping of twigs every so often. That catches you off guard for a moment, but everything seems to stay out of your way over the first half day of travel. After a while, you reach a point where the sun sets and darkness begins looming overhead. Do you guys wish to continue or to stop for the evening?
Do we know roughly how much of the path we should have traveled in this time? Like, how close are we to being...
Go ahead and make a survival check.
Sure. Okay. That's a 3.
Okay. In terms of how much progress towards the target, you're unsure. But you know that you've been traveling for a while, and it feels like a while longer due to the lack of any road or path, and the fact that you're trudging through tall grass and untamed nature. It's tiring.
Sure is. I think it's best that we rest for the night and continue tomorrow.
Indeed. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
I offer to take first watch, at least.
Okay.
I'm happy to take second.
Take third.
With that, the night begins. Do you decide to start a campfire or no?
Yeah,
How
I
cold
think...
is it?
It's not like cold, need a fire to warm you up through the night kind of temperature. It's mild and pleasant.
I would rather not create smoke to let anyone know that there's someone in the area if we are trying to sneak up on them.
I might create a fire, just the smallest one,
Mm-hmm.
and then extinguish it the moment I'm done cooking a meal for the party.
Okay. All right. So who is on first
I'm
watch?
making a soup.
You're making a soup?
Gotta love
Can the
some
man?
soup.
Anyone?
All right. Whoever was on first watch, go ahead and roll a d20.
Sure will. Not one.
Okay. Go and roll a d6.
Oh no.
That's a 4.
You begin your watch with the remnants of the fire. Herod started to make some soup. Just lingering, the faint smell of it lingering in the air. And as your compatriots drift off into sleep, the calmness of the night sets in. The birds slowly, the sound of the birds slowly transitions to that of crickets, and the occasional owl in the distance. As everything feels peaceful and at rest. At one point in your watch, after 30 minutes to an hour, things almost begin to feel a little too quiet.
Oh no.
The sound of crickets has died down, and you don't hear the owls anymore. You hear the faintest of howls, more akin to the wind. Just this ominous noise that the wind is producing not too far away as it picks up and lets off again. Occasionally you hear a distant ruffling of leaves that then just stops. It goes silent again. And for a moment you could have swore that you heard almost like the flapping of wings, like a swoosh. Faint, but enough that you pick up on it. And it's silent again. Are you doing anything in particular? Or are you just studying the surroundings?
I reach for my shield just in case, and
Okay.
just continue looking around if I sense anything else.
Couple of moments go by. The stillness persists. Remains quiet. And as you sit there tense, holding your shield, just about the time you start to relax just a little bit, the silence is broken by a strange sort of caw, like a bird sort of noise that seems distressed. And it sounds like a big bird. It's deep and guttural and pierces through the silence like nothing else. Almost to where you want to cover your ears. Pippa and Ocean are awoken by this noise. Confused and hazy, and in that suddenly awoken from a deep sleep state, they can see as Sam just kind of glances around and continues to try and figure out just what's going on. But it's right about that time that you hear the three of you that are now awake. What sounds like, at first, almost like another twig snapping, but it's larger, like a branch and then another one. And it's even louder. And before you can really take in what's happening, this loud thud shakes the ground. The rest of you are awoken. And 15 feet away, in the direction in which Sam's looking, from one of the nearby trees, what appears to be a massive, giant eagle stands up onto its feet, kind of stretches out its wings a little bit before directing its attention in your group. And this eagle appears to be a little battered, a little strange looking for what you would expect out of an eagle, albeit a large eagle. Just this weird sense of it got into something, or something got a hold of it, and you're unsure what, but it's just got this weird feeling about it. It's this kind of rugged look, this almost unnatural kind of energy around some of the kind of scratches and marks and like stained colors in some of the lighter feathers as it focuses its attention in your direction. And you hear another thud. Opposite side.
Oh no.
Of your group. From 20-25 feet away. You glance in that direction and can make out through the moonlight shining through the brush another of these giant eagles. Both locked in, looking in your direction. And after a moment, beginning to walk towards you. And quickly at that, because they're big and their strides are long. I would like you all to roll initiative.
Goodness gracious.
Classic.
15.
21.
11.
Kulan was 11 or Sam was 11?
Sam was 11.
I was 21.
Okay. Okay, we won't have Ocean in here for the sake of being sick. And
Ocean's just sleeping through it.
Yeah.
Honk shoeing.
That's classic petrification syndrome. Just
Heavy sleep.
It's an every
super heavy
time.
sleeper.
Sore throat.
Yeah.
No voice.
Terrible.
Okay. The first bird that... Hold on, let me... real quick. There we go. The first bird that landed in the direction in which Sam was watching begins to pick up its pace as it approaches. Sam first, rest of the group behind, focusing specifically on Sam. And it is going to attack without hesitation, swinging its head in your direction, Sam, to try and attack you with its large, imposing beak. And so it begins. 14 to hit.
Doesn't hit.
All right, you're able to deflect the beak with your shield you had readied on its first attempt making an attack. It is going to come back with a talon to try and get you on the recovery of its swoop with its head. Let me use this one. 17 to hit.
Doesn't hit.
All right. You are able to recover from blocking the first one and just sidestep out of the way before the Talon latches, and you are able to avoid both of its attacks. The other eagle from the opposite side of the group, as well, making its way towards your gathering, is going to focus its attention on actually, I guess I don't know the order you guys are in. It'll focus its attention on Hera and go for an attack with its beak. 16 hit?
16 just hits.
All right. So it is able to find purchase with that attack, and Hera, you'll take 7 points of piercing damage.
Goodness gracious.
Before it tries to get you with its talons as well.
Oh dear
I guess
me.
a talon. Dirty 20 hits.
It does.
And for that one, you'll take 9 points of slashing damage.
Good heavens. Okay.
And that is both of their turns. So we are up to Kulan.
Okay, I'll run to the one that hit Hera, seeing Hera get hurt, and I'll go with my quarterstaff.
Okay.
And try and bonk it a bit.
Okay.
It's a 9 to hit.
9 does not hit.
I think I'll use my bonus action then to go up with a flurry of blows instead.
Okay.
Or do I have to hit to be able to use it?
I
think it's
don't
just...
actually know. I don't think
Immediately after I take
so.
the attack action, I can do it, it says.
Yeah, it doesn't
Say anything
anything.
about hitting, though.
Go for it.
Very blows. So I go with the first hit, which is a 25 to hit.
That hits.
Dealing 6 bludgeoning.
Okay.
Followed up by the second one, 12 to hit.
Does not hit.
Okay. That's my turn.
Okay.
I'll try and position myself between the eagle and Hera.
Very well. That brings us to Pipra.
Would you say this eagle is flanked?
I would not. There's nobody on the other side of either. They're kind of on the either side of your group as a whole.
Okay. I would like to cast Scorching Ray. 2nd level.
Which one would this be at?
The one that Ulan just attacked.
Okay. 2 seconds. Let me see if I can do a thing here. I might just have throwing together a thing here.
My rolls to hit were 23, 13, 13.
Okay. I am throwing together impromptu battle map. So the
Very
things I have
cool.
here. Okay. Oh, this is some
Dramatic
epic music.
This is dramatic.
This is boss music.
It wasn't nat 1 on that roll, to be fair.
I'll have to keep those in mind because I'll need to ask again. Fantastic. Okay, this should work. Except it's not snowing where you're at, but this will do. And there's no campfire. There we go. All right.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
So, starting with Pipra, you said Scorching Rays.
Scorching Ray. 23 for the first, 13 and 13.
They all hit. Go and roll damage.
Okay. $10 for the first one.
Okay.
6 for the second.
Okay.
10 for the third.
All right. All three of these Scorching Rays are able to hit the large beast in front of you with ease, and you see as it doesn't take well to getting hit with these motes of fire.
Yeah, I'm trying to set the feathers on fire.
Definitely not enjoying that. And this similar screech to the one that woke you up, it lets out this deeper, just in pain, not pleasant to the ears sort of screech once more. As that ends your turn, unless you would like to move.
I would like to cast Scholar's Preparation as well.
Okay.
And I'm fine where I'm at.
Very nice. That brings us to Sam. You are up next.
Yep. I will attack twice with my longsword.
Okay.
The eagle I'm facing.
Yep.
Does a 22 hit?
Yes.
4 damage.
Okay.
To that attack, I will also do Divine Smite, so I add 2d8 extra damage. So that is 8 additional damage for a total of 12.
Very nice. Did you say you have 2 attacks, or was...
Yeah, 2 attacks.
Okay.
Second one, unnatural 20.
Fantastic.
And that is 7 damage.
Very nice.
And that's probably it for my turn.
Putting the work in. Staying where you are?
Yeah.
All right. You are, well, I guess the other 3 of you are focused on the other bird, but you can hear the work being put in, so to say, on the other side of this campsite, as Sam is very much on it, having been awake and not just woken up, and definitely doing a good job at keeping the other eagle at bay. All right, that brings us to Hera. You are up next.
Which one is the bird that was injured when we first saw it?
The one that Sam is currently fighting. However, you've noticed very similarly the second large eagle has
Oh, they were fighting each other.
a lot of the
weren't
same
they?
thing going on.
Fantastic. I would like to focus on that nearby eagle then, the one that just
Okay.
tried to make me its snack for the night.
Okay.
Um,
We'll assume you're under the tree on this random impromptu map.
okay. Under the tree is fine. Ooh. Do I still have line of sight of both birds?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I would like to cast second level twinned chaos bolt towards both.
Fantastic. Let me roll your chaos magic. Here we go. More chaos magic. Is that the one you
So chaos
choose
bolt
the effect, or
usually-
you roll for the effect?
I roll for the effect.
Right. Okay.
And so it's the one that I roll for the effect, and if it's the same effect on both dice, then the effect can like jump to another target.
Right. Gotcha. And this is second level.
Second
Right.
level and
Okay.
twinned.
Oh, that didn't mean it. So loud. All right, we're fine. All right.
So on the first one, the one nearest, that's a 22 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Cool. So for the base damage, it's going to be 13 plus. Oh, I apologize. That's not correct. It's going to be 8
Mm-hmm.
plus 13, and because those were those two dice, that's 6 and 7. So that means it can be either poison or psychic. I'm going to choose poison,
This is for both
the nearby one.
nearby one. And how much total damage?
Good question. That totals 21.
21
damage.
poison.
21 poison.
Okay. Second one.
Second one is a 16 to hit.
That hits.
Total damage is going to be 22.
Very nice.
And it's going to be lightning damage.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Yeah, I have nothing else to do for that turn, so I'm just
Okay.
gonna wake myself up properly and go, ow!
As you guys see, Hera let out these 2 bolts of magical energy. One of more of a greener and poisonous sort of energy hitting the bird that's been taking most of the damage, and it rears in pain as it kind of starts to spread a little bit across the impact. And on the other one, almost like a streak of lightning emanating from this small orb that's kind of shot in its direction, as it kind of reacts as if getting as if just getting like tased. Like it just kind of like has this like vibrating response to it for a moment, and it kind of takes a step back in pain. As those bolts release, emanating from Hera in a sudden warm golden kind of pulse that just kind of shoots out in every direction, for with how dark it is, about as far as you can see, if not a little bit further. This aura, this wave, this energy, golden orange, and it kind of fills the air. You can kind of see these little particles just kind of drifting throughout all around you, and you feel the air get a little bit warmer, and you see as on Hera's person, the marks that were taken, hits that were taken earlier from the beak and talon of the bird that first attacked begin to slowly close up, and similarly on the bird that's been getting a bunch of the hits, a lot of its damage starts to slowly kind of return to a more normal sort of look to it. The cuts are kind of closing a little bit, and it seems to be a little more revitalized, much like you yourself are. And so, at that nat 20 chaos roll,
Goodness gracious.
that brings us to the bird's turn, and start of its turn, it heals 7 points. The other one.
Wait, did I heal points there?
It's at the start of every creature's turn after it takes effect. So at the
Okay.
start of your next
So I
turn,
have-
you'll heal.
Cool.
Every
Yeah,
single
be right
person
back.
will heal. Okay. 4 for the other one. Okay, so at the bird's turns again, the first one, the one next to Sam, is going to go ahead and attempt to attack Sam a couple more times. This time, reaching out with its talons once more to try and get a hit in, and that is going to be 23 to hit.
But that's it.
Okay, you'll take 12 points of slashing damage.
Mhm.
And then it's going to attempt once more with the talon, and 24 to hit.
That's it.
Okay, for that one, 10 points of slashing damage for its turn.
Got it.
It is just going to kind of stay within melee, and oh, I grabbed the wrong thing. Second. It's just gonna angle itself a little bit differently, but still in melee with you. Okay, and then the other bird is quite angry at specifically Pipra for all of the damage that was just done. It is going to focus its attention, staying in melee with Kulan, but attack Pipra with its beak for 21 to hit. And Pipra will be right back, but that will hit. So I'll let Pipra know what she ends up getting. So for that one, Pipra will take 7 points of piercing. And feeling satisfied at that, try to attack Kulan with its other attack. So Kulan, 21 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. As it lashes out with its talons, you'll take 9 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
And that is the end of its turn, which brings us to Kulan. You are going to heal at the start of your turn. You're going to heal 23 points at the start of your turn. Rolled an 11 and a 12 on 2d12.
Right. And for my turn, then, I will try and uppercut it with my staff.
Go for
Okay.
it.
Natural 20.
Heck yeah.
Ooh.
We're talking. The difference here, hold on. Yeah, and that is 12 damage.
Okay.
And then I will follow right up with 2 punches.
Fantastic.
First one is 9 to hit, I assume that miss.
That will miss.
Second is 22.
That hits.
5 extra damage.
Nice. Okay. Any movement? Is that your turn?
Yeah, I say where I am.
All right. That brings us to Pipra. Pipra, you took 7 damage, and it is the start of your turn, which means you heal 19 points from Hera's Chaos Magic Healing Storm.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
I'm going to. Um. How are these birds looking?
Better from the Healing Storm, but hurting. And part of you is kind of unsure because the wounds that they came into battle with don't seem natural. Something is somewhat off compared to what you would expect out of eagle-like creatures.
Can I perception to see, like, are they undead? Or are they just arcane in nature?
They seem to be reacting to the damage we deal at least.
Yeah.
Yep, they're reacting like normal to the damage. Well, are you looking for a specifically magical essence about them?
I'm just
Or-
curious to what's off about them. I'm trying to pinpoint it.
I would say, in terms of generally what's off about them, make a nature check, if that's what you're going for.
Does this count as a free action or my action?
That depends. If you want to more so at a glance, but higher DC, you could do bonus action. Or if you want a more manageable DC and to spend your action on it, you could do that.
I'll bonus action it.
Okay. So nature check at a glance.
21.
Okay. From what you can tell, in the glance that you get during this tense moment and in the darkness lit only by the moon, they don't appear to be any sense of undead per se, but and you can kind of see it in their eyes in a big way. It's almost like they're not normal birds in the sense of how they might act or anything like that. Almost like not quite like they're being controlled, but more so maybe like a switch was flipped in their brain or something, and they just have this strange way about how they're acting and the wounds that they had when they suddenly appeared. Just kind of adding to the mystery, but furthering the sense that these aren't just like normal giant eagles, right?
Okay.
Not necessarily undead, still reacting to damage and all of that fairly normally.
Okay. I will Scorching Ray, 3rd level.
Okay. All at one, or
Split 2 and 2.
Okay.
First roll is dirty 20.
That'll hit.
15.
That'll hit.
11.
That does not hit.
24.
That'll hit.
Okay. So towards the first one.
First one's closest to
Is-
you, or
Yes.
okay.
This one gets 2 that hit.
Okay.
The other one gets 1. 5.
Okay.
4.
Okay.
And the other one 11.
11 to the second one.
11 to the second one.
Okay. All right. With that, the first bird getting pelted by even more of the fiery bolts being delivered by Pipra is definitely had better days. It's starting to really look rough. As for the other one, closer to Sam, in better shape, albeit still taking damage and reacting normally. Not very happy at that. But is that your turn, or do you want to move at all?
I will stay put so it doesn't get an opportunity attack.
All right, that brings us to Sam.
Do I heal any?
Yes, you heal 15 points.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm. Can I cast Steel Skin on myself?
Yep.
Then I will do that, adding 1d8 temporary hit points.
All right, go for it.
Five, nice. Just in case, because these eagles frankly hit like a bus last time.
Yeah.
And then I'll attack the one I'm facing twice again.
Go for it.
That is a 19 to hit.
That'll hit.
Uh, 5 points of damage.
Okay.
Since this bird doesn't seem to be going down, I think I'm gonna add another Divine Smite to that.
Okay.
For 2d8 extra damage.
Go for it.
So another 5 for a total of 10, I think.
Okay.
And for my other attack, that's a 21 to hit.
That'll hit.
And another 5 damage. And I'll end my turn with that.
Okay. And that was all the same bird?
Yep.
All right. Very nice. With that brings us to Hera.
Okay. I think I'm gonna repeat my last turn just at a lower level this time. Maybe.
You also heal
Perfect.
13 points.
Smashing. Okay. Which of these two creatures looks weakest right now?
The one closest is hanging on for dear life.
Alrighty, let's just loosen its grip on reality just a little. I am going
That's one way to say it.
I'm hitting it with another level 2 Chaos Bolt.
Okay.
I'm just going to twin it again. I'm going to repeat my last turn.
Okay.
So Twinned, second level. First attack goes towards this bird. That is a 16 to hit.
That'll hit.
Okay, let's have a little look. So the total damage is going to be 14.
Okay. What type of damage is that? That's on the close one, right?
Yeah, this is on the close one. Just getting that now. I can choose between 3 and 5, so that is... I've made my choice. I'm going to hit it with fire.
Okay, and then figure out for the second one?
And for the second one, that's going to be... 25 to hit.
That barely hits, yeah.
So the damage on that bird is going to be 16.
Okay.
And hang on a minute. What was that I just rolled there? Okay, 1 and 8. So I'm going to choose thunder damage for this one.
All right, cool. For the first bird, how do you want to do this?
Okay. So I'm gonna channel one. One's gonna create the sound energy, and it's gonna go fling back towards the other one. And I'm gonna focus both of my hands onto the fire bolt that I cast forwards towards this bird. Watch it just engulf the wings.
Awesome. It illuminates the entire forest around you for a moment as the bird goes up in flames, and all remaining energy and fight that it has dies out as well as it falls to the ground in a smoldering pile of burnt despair. Anyway,
Burnt despair. That's my favorite flavor.
anything else on your turn, or is that everything?
That's everything. I'm perfectly happy with that.
Okay, that brings it to our remaining bird's turn. Hold on, let me... My dead symbol, there we have it. Oh, whoops, that's the map. Dead. There we go. Okay, so second bird, start of its turn. Technically first bird. Heals 18 points. Okay, and on its turn, it is going to, yeah, I guess attack Sam because Sam is right there. All right,
Right for the taking.
First attack with its talons is going to be 22 to hit.
That does it.
Okay, you'll take 9 points of slashing damage.
Mhm.
And it'll come back with more talons, and this one's only a 14 to hit.
Does not hit.
Okay, so it'll miss on its second one, which brings us to Kulan. Start of your turn, you heal 9 points.
Okay. I'll run all the way up to the next bird then.
Okay.
And I'll take it from the top.
Go for it.
One quarterstaff to hit is 25.
That hits.
That is 10 damage, and I think I can add sneak attack, which I forgot to do last time.
Yep, go for it.
And that is an additional 4, so 14 damage total.
Okay.
And I'll follow up with the 2 unarmed strikes. So flurry of blows again.
Send it.
Nat 1, so that's a miss. 13.
13 just hits.
Ooh. And another 8 damage.
Okay. Very nice. So your turn?
Yes.
All right. Pipra, you're up.
How's it looking?
It's looking like it's still got some fight left in it, but it's definitely taking some damage.
In that case, Scorching Ray, 2nd level.
Okay. Feeling the fire today, I guess.
Indeed. 24,
That hits.
22,
That hits.
16,
That hits.
7.
7 damage on the first one.
Yep. 10.
Okay. Okay, so 17 total.
8.
25 total. What's this at? Okay. All right, is that your turn?
Yes.
All right, that brings us to Sam.
Once again, here we are. I think I'm just gonna do the classic.
Okay.
Slash it a couple of times.
All right, it took quite a beating from Pipper's fire. It is reeling after those hits.
Okay. I'm guessing 12 doesn't hit.
No.
No.
Also, you heal.
Right, so
8. No. Yes. No. One's a 9, one's a 6. 15.
Yep. Second to hit is a 23.
That hits.
And that's 6 damage.
All right. Is that your turn?
Yeah.
All right, that brings us to Hera.
Okay. You know what? This has done me well so far. I'm gonna hit it with a. Wait, who's around it?
For the sake of this, we're just gonna pretend Ocean is invisible.
Okay.
And you've got 2 of your friends directly between it and you. Pipper's more at a distance.
Does it look like? Does it look like it has? I don't know, less than 8d6 hit points left.
Depending on how you roll, yeah.
Cool. Does it also look like I can get, say, a 20-foot sphere with it inside, but not any of those guys?
What's the range on the spell itself?
The range is 150 feet.
Yeah, you could do that.
Are you
I'd like to.
fireballing?
I'm fireballing.
DM, I cast Fireball.
I
didn't
cast
ask what
Fireball,
size the room
DM.
was.
Fantastic. Caster Fireball.
I'm
It's a
casting
dex
my
save,
Fireball.
right?
Dex save of 15 for me, and the damage is 24.
Okay, you said the save was... It has to be to 15?
It has to beat 15.
It rolled 15.
Oh, I don't know whether that does it.
Yeah, I think it's like
Yeah, that
AC
does, yeah,
probably.
yeah.
What was the damage total? Or did you not roll it yet?
I did. I just can't remember what it was. 24.
Okay,
So
so
12.
12. How do you want to do this?
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
2 fire deaths.
One fire towards the other bird, and as I'm hearing the kerfuffle, I'm just going to charge it up and just watch it illuminate the
Slow
forest behind
motion.
it.
Fireball all of a sudden lighting the entire forest. Not on fire, but lighting. And everyone just looks over like starry-eyed as this fireball just silently, everything just goes quiet. And then as soon as it impacts, it's just heat wave
Exactly.
hits everyone in the face. The bird falls to the ground, and you have vanquished the sudden foes.
Perfect.
Can I take a look at the 2 fallen, now slightly burnt eagles?
Yeah.
I
Would you like
apologize.
to look for anything in particular?
Specifically like around the talons or around the necks, where you would typically have like on the normal sized eagles, you will typically have like mask or something to in order to tame them. I'm looking for those kinds of signs.
Oh, signs of like human intervention or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Go for it. Roll investigation.
Nat 20. Let's go.
All right. So, in terms of the signs you might expect to find, you're not getting anything that at least seems like directly what you're looking for. Like, oh, you know, if somebody were messing with these eagles, I'd find this or that. You do, however, to your surprise, find yet again this symbol. This time in kind of the palm of the first eagle you check, and sure enough, the second one as well. The palm of kind of the talons carved in there, and almost like stained red, or having that like deep red kind of look to it, like it was like carved in flesh kind of a thing. Same symbol. You, I think, took a note of what it looked like, and you compare the two, and they line up to the T.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I'd like to take yet another sample of this, and I'd like to just scrape it off.
Do you just
to my
like
sculpture collection?
Do you just like cut the entire talon off and keep it, or do you try to like?
Yeah, that sounds about easier actually. Let me take the talon.
I was thinking that sounded way more metal, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay. Make a sleight of hand check.
Okay, sleight of hand. Woo. 5.
Okay. All right. So you, in your attempt to remove the talon to keep around for the purposes of the symbol on it, it does not go at all to plan. And it is a messy sight. Those in the party who are of weaker stomach find themselves looking away because it is just rough. And I'll leave it at that. But the job is done, kind of. Serviceable. And you have a talon.
Some snake. Some talon. I expect a tooth next time.
I have the tooth.
Fantastic. I expect a tusk.
You're not having mine.
Well,
Well, if that'll be everything, and I'm going to immediately fall back to sleep.
Fair enough. Hera just walks
Oh,
over and collapses.
I thought you had second watch there.
yeah, you do.
Oh no. I'm going to begrudgingly get up then.
Yep.
And I'm going to sleep.
Good night.
Thank you.
Okay. Hera's got second watch.
I have second watch.
Go and roll a d20.
Goodness gracious me, do you trust that?
More eagles.
18.
All right. Your begrudging watch, little ornery from being woken up by the eagle, but nonetheless, you keep watch and stay awake. Everything goes as it should. Quiet, still. The crickets eventually come back. Distant sound of owls. The occasional light breeze, but overall, modest temperature. And eventually, it comes time to wake the next for their watch.
That would be me.
You pass
I
off
fall
watch
asleep.
and
very
finally
quickly.
get some rest. Pipra, go ahead and roll a d20.
Four.
Go ahead and roll a d6.
Oh. Hera just not getting any sleep.
It's a good thing you guys had that healing storm.
4.
4 again.
There's no way, right?
There's no.
4 eagles.
Wait, didn't
If
you
I
roll
could-
4 before?
I
Yeah.
did roll a 4.
It's okay. It's not gonna be the same thing. I got plans for this.
If I had a penny for every time
You
we got
got
attacked by
plans. I don't like the
eagles.
sound of that.
I got like plans in terms of like pre-meditated. Make sure that it's not the same thing twice in a row. If it's a
Okay.
Okay.
Because if I had a penny for every time we got attacked by eagles, man.
You'd have 2 pennies, which isn't a
But it-
lot, but it's weird that
But
it
it's been
happens
weird it
twice.
happened twice.
okay. Pipra, on your watch as the night reaches the very ends of its reign over the sky, and as the ever so faint glow begins to creep over the horizon from the east, indicating the sun not too far behind. The crickets are still going, albeit starting to slowly die out a little bit. In this calm, roughly 4:35 in the morning silence, when everything seems to be fine and finally calm, you feel a slight tremor in the ground. You feel it more so than anyone else might, given your being a worker. You don't sense any footsteps nearby, even of any creatures for that matter, but a little tremor. And shortly thereafter, it almost feels like you can almost sense something like moving underground through the dirt. Something like retracting. And something else kind of burrowing further. And you feel these two sensations through your feet over and over, just picking up on the slight vibrations. And then you hear a twig snap. And a light breeze picks up. The leaves ruffle a little bit. And then the movement that you sense picks up. It gets a little more pronounced. Another tremor in the ground. You hear a loud creak, like wood creaking, as if suddenly forcefully being moved after a long time of being stationary. And you turn to look in the direction in which you hear it. And to your shock and just utter disbelief, you see maybe 50 feet away from you what appears to be one of the trees of the forest has unrooted itself and come to life. It is creeping its way now in your direction. No features, no eyes, no mouth, but this tree, this giant oak, we can call it. The sounds of the wood creaking and bending and twigs snapping as it at first slowly begins with its roots just kind of reaching out and kind of walking as much as a tree can before it kind of picks up its stride a little bit. Not necessarily running, it's just as it kind of moves more and more, its stride gets longer because it's such a big thing.
Does it
And
seem
as it-
hostile?
At this distance and this soon after noticing it, you're still determining it, but it doesn't seem friendly at the very least. And at noticing that, you, with your passive perception, notice that kind of off to the side, you catch some movement and you glance over in that direction, and similarly, another one of the trees has kind of uprooted itself and is closing the gap on the group. With you being the only one awake for this at the moment, these two trees that have seemingly come to life in the middle of the forest now, closing in on your position as the darkness looms overhead, only ever so faintly, beginning to be illuminated by the earliest stretches of daylight. That's where we'll end the session for today, and pick up
How
next
far
week.
apart are they?